Hello, Twinkle. High five. Good boy. Good high five. Can you do this one? Twinkle. Up. Up. Come on, you can do it. Up. Good boy. Let's do one more trick. Shake. No, still eating. Shake. Good shake. Good boy. Well done. Impressed with that? That is a cat that can do tricks. A very good cat. Well done. Good boy. Right, off you go. It's time for learning. No more treats. Good boy. Yes, it's time for learning. It's Monday morning. So what have I got for you today? Well, do you remember last week I read to you a little bit of a story, a little bit of this story. Somebody swallowed Stanley. And we learned that Stanley wasn't a jellyfish at all. Stanley was a plastic bag. Well, I'm going to read you the rest of the story now, but I think I better start from the very beginning so that we can remember exactly what was happening in that story. Stanley swept into the sea with a splash and a splish. Perhaps he's one of us, thought the other jellyfish. But his stripes were too straight and his tentacles too few. He just floated in the sea, not sure what to do. You see, Stanley was no ordinary jellyfish. Then something terrible happened. Somebody swallowed Stanley. But who could it be? Her tongue was as rough as barnacles, her mouth vast as a cave, and she hummed her low song. Stanley tried to be brave. So who had swallowed Stanley? The creature stopped singing as Stanley slid down her slimy throat. She coughed and she spluttered, and then whoosh! With a rush and a rumble, steam burst from her spout. A whale had swallowed Stanley, but now he was out. Stanley dropped with a splash back into the sea, where he bobbed along gently, calm and carefree, until something terrible happened. Somebody swallowed Stanley, but who could it be? Who indeed? With a sharp yellow beak and a small beady eye, the creature flapped his wings and rose up to the sky. But who had swallowed Stanley? He pecked and then snapped and he nipped. But Stanley wouldn't go down. More creatures flew over. First 2 and then 3. In all the flapping and squawking, they let Stanley be. A seagull had swallowed Stanley, but now he was free. That reminds me of that film, Finding Nemo, if you've seen it, where all the gulls have got their eyes on the crab and they end up fighting and the crab gets away. Well, just like Stanley slipped overboard. Poor old Stanley. He was ripped up, scruffy, and torn. Hard to hold the book and show you at the same time. Sorry about that. He sank and he sank and he sank down some more. But something terrible happened before he reached the sea floor. Can you guess what might be? Can you guess what creature comes along? Somebody swallowed Stanley again. But who could it be? Her paddle-shaped flippers skimmed the seabed. She had a beautiful shell and a small wrinkly head. So who had swallowed Stanley? You see the light shining on the book there. Is that better? Who had swallowed Stanley this time? She gasped and spluttered, then started to choke too. But Stanley was stuck without much he could do. Oh no, what's happening to the turtle? A turtle had swallowed Stanley. The creature was scared and swam quickly to shore. With Stanley stuck in her throat, she couldn't breathe anymore. Oh dear, I'm really sad for that turtle. The turtle closed her eyes and lay down in the sand. But then Stanley heard footsteps. Help was at hand. A kind boy on the beach came and tugged Stanley free. But then Stanley heard, plastic bags don't belong in the ocean blue. Creatures think you're a jellyfish and they'll swallow you. Now, with a rope and a branch, he'd made something new. I wonder what the boy's making. A kite! Flying high in the air, Stanley soared to and fro, safe from the sea and all the creatures below. That's the end of Somebody Swallowed Stanley. And if you'll notice, remember last week you had to look at all those pictures and I asked you how they might link together and if you could make a story from them. Well, there was a whale in those pictures, wasn't there? And there were jellyfish, and there was a bag with red and white stripes, and there were gulls, and there was a boat, and there was a boy, and there was a beach. Yes, those pictures were from this story. And lots of you came up with your own ideas, which were brilliant, but that was the story of Somebody Swallowed Stanley. Some quite interesting things to think about from that story. I was feeling very, very sorry for the turtle because, yes, plastic bags don't belong in the ocean, do they? The turtle thought it was a delicious jellyfish and she almost ended up in a very, very bad way. If it hadn't been for that kind boy, that turtle could have choked and died trying to eat Stanley, thinking that he was a jellyfish, which is really sad. And that got me thinking how it might feel to be that turtle, what might be going through the turtle's mind and how the turtle might be feeling when it experienced that event. As we heard it from Stanley's point of view. So I wondered if you could do something amazing and perhaps you could write the ending to that story, but from the turtle's point of view. Imagine it's the turtle's story. The turtle's having a lovely day, swimming along, having a nice paddle, and looking for some food, and ends up swallowing what it thinks is a tasty jellyfish. And actually, that jellyfish makes it very poorly. And then what happened next to that turtle? How did that turtle get saved? What was it thinking when the boy picked her up off the beach? What was she thinking? And when the boy pulled the bag from its throat, what was she thinking? What was she feeling? What did it feel like when she could breathe again? And the boy gently put her back in the ocean. There's lots to think about there. So I would wonder if you could be really, really clever and you could have a go at writing the turtle's story. So what I'm going to do is share one with you that I've started. Now you can magpie some of the ideas from this if you want to. Oops, get rid of that. Or you can make up your own entirely from the beginning. But I just started off writing from the turtle's point of view, imagining I was writing the turtle's version of the events. Now I've been writing it in the first person. And if you can remember, the first person is where we use I. We're pretending to be the turtle. So we're writing it like we are the turtle. So I'm using the first person saying I. And I've also used the past tense because this has already happened, the stuff that happened to the turtle. So I'm writing it as though it's already happened. So that's why I've got my writing in the past tense. It was rather than it is. And I probably need to use Uncle Ed, the ED endings for some of my verbs in order to write things in the past tense. So there's a couple of things to watch out for while you're writing your version of the turtle story. But this is what I've written so far. It's not finished. I've got lots more to write about. But this is where I've got to. And like I said, you can magpie some of this if you want to, and then you can carry on. So it says, It was a wonderful warm day in the ocean, and I was minding my own business as I gracefully swam through the waves. My flippers were skimming across the seabed. I magpied that from the book because it said the flippers skimmed the seabed, so I thought I'd take that. My flippers were skimming across the seabed, and everything was perfect, except I was feeling a little hungry. Suddenly, nice time word, I like time words. Suddenly is a good time word. Suddenly, I spotted the most delicious dangling tentacles I had ever seen. And I got a bit of alliteration in there too. Delicious dangling, da-da-da-da-da. Bit of alliteration, nice technique. You could use that too. I spotted the most delicious dangling tentacles I had ever seen. Hooray! A tasty red and white jellyfish was floating just a few meters away. Yum! I thought. And we know what happens next. Yes, the turtle gobbles Stanley up, not realizing that Stanley is a plastic bag, and then, ooh, that doesn't feel so good in the tummy, and oh, it's stuck in my throat and struggling to breathe. Could you carry on the story from that point? Could you write from the turtle's point of view and explain what happened to the turtle in the first person, pretending to be the turtle, and write about how she was rescued, how you were rescued, remember you're pretending to be the turtle, how it felt, and what it was like for the turtle? That's my challenge for you today. You can leave this paused on here and you can magpie ideas from that to start you off, or you can come up with your own ideas. But I would love to know how that turtle was feeling, what it was like for that turtle to experience that event. Okay. That's my challenge today. When you've done that, you can submit it via Dojo or email to your teachers, and we'll love to read it. Don't forget, if you've got a purple pen at home, you can do some correcting as well. If you don't have a purple pen at home, which I'm sure lots of you don't, that's fine. You can use any other pencils that you've got for doing your correcting afterwards. And if you've got a piece of paper, if you skip out a line when you're writing, it's much easier for you to write in your corrections afterwards if you need to correct any spellings or add any missing capital letters, those kind of things. So just because we're not at school doesn't mean we can't use some of the same tips and techniques at school. Oh, and lots of you have got common exception word mats that were sent out earlier in the year, and you could be using those while you're doing your writing, can't you, to spot any words that might be on there to spell correctly. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing your turtle stories later on. But for now, I'm going to say bye-bye. Oh, and bye-bye from Twinkle too, wherever he's gone to. He's gone away now. He's not going to get any more treats. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.